This is the 7th grade worksheet for lesson 17. I'll be covering it. So the first part, we have John bought 1.6 kilograms of sugar, priced at $2.4 per kilogram. How much did he pay? So we know that for every kilogram he has to pay this much. So you just take 2.4 times 1.6. And to save time, if you just use a calculator, it's fine. But if you want to get practice on doing this, you should do it like this. So you get 2.4 times 1.6, and if you multiply it all out correctly, you should get 3.84, which is B. But make sure you show your work for it though when you try it to solve it out, if you want to do it on your own. So next problem is solve the problem below and mark the correct answer. So here you do 5.5 times negative 2.6. So if you multiply it all out, you should get something like this, and then you add them all together, because you get 6 times 2 is 12, drop 0, 6 times 5, that's 30, then the rest is like that. So add them all up, you should get this. But since you got 2 decimals here, you have to move it 2 decimal places from the right. So you do 1, 2, so decimal place goes here. And since it's a positive times a negative, the answer will be negative, so it's A. Anna rides her bicycle at a constant speed of 4.2 miles per hour. How many miles will she have passed in 2.5 hours? So we know that for every hour she travels this many miles, so you just multiply it by 2.5. So a quick way to do this, so you know how it's 2 right here, you just multiply it separately. So what's 2 times 4.2? That's 8.4. And then 0.5 times 4.2, when you multiply something by 0.5, you're really just dividing it. So what's 4.2? So what will be 4.2 divided by 2? That would just be 2.1. And you just add them together, you should get 10.5, and the answer is D. Mia's house is 5.2 yards high. What is the best estimate of the height of Mia's house in meters? So here you have, so her house is 5.2 yards high, and you're trying to find the height in meters. So we're given the conversion here. So 1 yard is 0.9 meters. So we just take 5.2 yards times it by 0.9. So then you should get, that's 18, 45, 8, 4, 6. And if you round it, you should get B, 4.7. Because the 6 rounds up to a 7. So, here you should be able to do, since it's the exact same thing here. So, if you want to try this on your own, go ahead, and I'll just write down the answer here so you can check your work. So 5, the answer should be D, and 6, the answer should be C. Now go ahead and try this on your own. Now I'll cover this part. Use proportions to answer the questions. What percent of 75 is 27? Now this is proportion, so you're just gonna write a fraction like this. Now when it says of something, this number right after of will always go at the bottom here. So of 75, the 75 will go at the bottom here. And then the is will always go on top of the fraction on the left, so it'll be on this side. And for the number here, it will be the percent, which is, we'll call it X, and we'll put it over 100. You always put it over 100 because for percent, so like that. So then now all you have to do is just cross multiply, so you get 75x equals 2700, like that. Divide by 75 to isolate x, and if you divide it out, you should get 36. That's the answer. So that's how you do proportions. I'll do number 3 now. So what number is 35% of 80? Now, like how I said that whatever number is right like right after the is, you put it right here. In this case you don't, because this one is the percent. So write out your proportion. Make sure to write 100 at the bottom. So since we're given a percent, we would just write 35 here. And of 80, since there's an of and 80 is right after the of, we would write it as our denominator here at the bottom. And it's asking for what number, so this means that we're looking for this, the x here. Same thing, you cross multiply. So x times 100 equals 80 times 35. And that's 2,800 if you multiply correctly. Divide by 100, and 2,800 divided by 100, you should just get 28. So yeah, that's how you do it. So the answer for 1 is 36%, and 3 is 28. I'll write down all the answers so you guys can try these on your own and check. So 2 is 55%, 4 is 51, 5 is 150, 21, 70%, 44%, 9 is 6%, and 10 is 27. So try to do 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on your own, and if you want to check your work or like your answers, these are the correct answers. So in a school transportation survey of 225 students, 18 of the students surveyed said that they walked to school. What percent of the students surveyed they walked to school? So we were given a total of 225 students, and only 18 of them said they walked to school, and it's asking for what percent. So we would use a proportion. Let's make it out of 100 again. Since it's asking for what percent, we'll just put x as our percent. So the total is 225, so you would write as a denominator. 18 would go here. Cross multiply, so you get 18 equals to 1800 plus 20, like that. Isolate the x. And if you divide 1800 divided by 225, if you use long division, you should get 8. So yeah, for these you just use a proportion to solve it. So that means it's 8%